Hello guys, welcome back to L003. It's good to see you guys. It's been a long time. I've been busy with stuff, just personal stuff. But I did an interesting target. I put some paper on, and I want you guys to take a look at it and show you what I got and see what I think. So the target was to optimally perceive the source of the invisible bubble being investigated at Skinwalker Ranch. Okay. So I'm going to go through the session. I'm going to just throw out a couple wild hypotheses, okay, of what could be happening there. So get structure, life forms. Just some basic Stage 2 dimensionals, AOL drag marks, rumbling sounds, transparent, multiple, open, cool, rocky, okay, AOL disc shaped, okay, rubbery cracking sounds, angled, okay. So right away I get this little sketch of like something round and this energy emanating out of it, wavy, narrow, elongated. Okay, so my first AI is a sense of distortion. Okay. So I go into some flash sketches here. So first off, I get this object in the clouds. I get this sense of like a directional energy possibly. And then in box B, I have this, it's almost like I'm looking at I don't want to say a radar, but it's like I'm looking at some kind of energy happening. I'm getting this rhythmic up and down motion. It just almost reminds me like looking at a radar or a screen with some kind of, indicating some kind of energetic up and down pulsing. I had pulsing quite a bit. This wavy energy. I had this rounded structure, AOL steel cage, and then I got this explosive energy in box D. Okay. So some of the AOLs are really interesting here. So I get AOL segregation, AOL break, crimes against humanity. So I get this sketch of this being like walking, this non-human being like walking down this path here. This hall, this ramp, I'm not sure. But yeah, so AOL, crimes against humanity. This being felt sad. It was interesting. It was weird. So AOL break, plasma discharge. AOL break like a footprint in human anatomy. Okay, so then I have this being hooked up to this machine, lack of a better word, just like it, connected to this person's head, and then like this energy being projected out. Okay. Okay, AI break, a welcoming energy to me. EI breaks, this is something there, transparency and acceptance. So at this point in the target, and I write this in the summary, where it's almost as if this being, you get this a lot in remote viewing with weirder targets. It's almost as if this being knows I'm here, and he's like, oh, welcome, take a look around. Because I get EI break, transparency and acceptance. Okay. But again, you notice I've got this ball of energy behind this smaller being. Life form. So I got a sense of engineering and organization here. I get this dropping, pulsing impression. I got a sense of forensic science here. So I kept getting these structures. I don't know if these were indicating, like portals or fingerprints or something. I don't know. But this down here looks like a structure to me, like possibly a non-surface UFO, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so because in the back of my mind I'm kind of getting some of that, and I'm just kind of ignoring it, because I'm trying to get down to what I'm here for. Okay, so I asked the primary life, what's your primary purpose in this moment? And I got a sense of evacuation. And I have in my AI, this feels procedural to me, whatever's happening here. AOL signal, like restocking the population. I got the sense of a blood relative species. And this was, again, indicating, like, to me, symbolically, like an indication of like a blood relative. So I get a sense of, show me what's most noteworthy here. I get a sense of peace, an exoplanet, like tracking an anomaly. And I get this person who feels like super psychic, highly intuitive. So I kind of feel like I'm dropping out a little bit, so I take a break, come back in. This was interesting. So I had this sense of like a dystopian future species of humanity or something. It was very strange. But I was getting this hierarchy, like a species hierarchy type of thing. A sense of progress. I have open borders here. I had this land formation and like something like objects coming out of this land formation. AOL signal, like an entrance point being observed. This could be something I have at the ranch, one of the guys at the ranch doing your testing or whatever. What's interesting is I have stage 4.5 sensing occupancy issues. Okay, and it's like I got this guy looking out at some structures, land formation, like a pressure system. And this was interesting too. Okay, I'm getting a sense of a filtration device, a sense of exchange. Yeah, and again, it's almost like this thing on the left was like this rounded structure. Like the top reminded me of like an antenna or something. I don't know. It's just weird. So I stage 5 pressure system. I didn't get anything in objects, but I got what was attributed to this pressure system. I got calculation, reverberation, time lapse, retrieval, obfuscation, instrumentation problem for the subject, covert operative, charging, in order. On the topic, I got seclusion, a transponder, and instrumentation. So I have a covert operative, and I put in my signal poltergeist issues. Actually, I think I put that in my. I think I added that to my summary. But what was interesting to me was I'm sensing perception issues, okay, with like maybe the humans seeing this or something, and I was getting like a progressive state of awareness. So here's my summary. Getting a sense of life structures and land here, wavy energetic pulses, and a sense of distortion. I have an object in the clouds. I have this up and down repeating pattern motion. I have a rounded structure in box D. I have an explosive energy. Page 4, I'm picking up on a non-human life form walking down a narrow structure. On page 5, I'm sensing a life form hooked up to some kind of machine projecting some type of energy. Page 6, I have a smaller life form with this ball of energy behind him. Feels as if he's welcoming me into the target. Forensic science and engineering come to mind. This feels procedural in some way. When asking for the life form's primary purpose, I got the impression of evacuation. I'm sensing a blood relative species here. I'm also sensing an anomaly being tracked and an exoplanet having some significance. Page 11, I'm picking up on a sense of hierarchy between beings here, a sense of progress, a dystopian, human, future self kind of vibe and or species comes to mind. I'm picking up on open borders, an entrance point being observed, and occupancy issues. A sense of exchange and some sort of filtration device. This target is very strange. I'm picking up on a covert operative, poltergeist issues, and an issue with human perception. Okay. So I'm going to propose a wild theory to us here. Okay. So it's been pretty clear to me, as far as with just from the remote viewing perspective, other stuff I've done, that there's portals on that property. Okay. Or at least a portal on that property, and things are going in and out of it. They have stuff in the sky, they have stuff underground, they have poltergeist activity. My best guess currently is, with all the sessions that I've done a few on this revolving around Skinwalker Ranch. They seem to, first of all, the bubble itself, at least from my perspective, seems to be projected through technology from this being. But why is what comes to mind. And from my perspective, it's as if there's a multifaceted technology. One being, it feels as if it alters the perception of people within it, or maybe can confuse their perception. Ever seen some of the episodes, where you could hear them mention, like, that's not what I saw, and then they rewatch stuff on video, and then they see something completely different from what they saw on the ranch in the moment, in real time. Okay. So from my perspective, if I had to take a stab at this, at least to some degree, there seems to be stuff coming in and out of these portals. Okay. And when I seen that the ET coming down that ramp, it was almost like it reminded me of like a planetary refugee kind of situation here. So what I want to say is, okay, let's say that there is these points in around the Earth or whatever, these nexus points where, whether they're natural or not, these portals where point to point, things come in and out of it, and there's something here monitoring what's coming in and out of it. Now, are those like planetary refugees coming out? I have no idea. But it seems like something's coming in and out of it, and there's something monitoring that area. But it was interesting. I had what felt to be like future humanity and non-human beings, as well as poltergeist activity. So it just makes me wonder if there are these nexus points where there's several things happening here. Okay, and these things, let's say that there are these non-terrestrial beings there. Okay, and there is this poltergeist activity. How do those realms interrelate? How do they bump up against each other? How do they behave with each other? Do they sense each other? But from my perspective, it kind of felt as if that technology was either there to contain or hide the activity in some way from human perception. But I definitely feel that area it's a multi-layered situation where you have literal realms. You have this poltergeist activity, this Skinwalker activity. You have these portals, and then you have these, who knows? Like, are they time travelers from our future, or are they keeping ETs out or something? But it definitely seems like a layer cake situation. It seems like some kind of nexus point where several things seem to be happening. So that's what I got on it. You know what I mean? I don't think it solved the mystery in its entirety or whatever, but if somebody does works that target, I want to beat some of the streamers to it. So I'm sure they will. My guess would be they're going to probably, if they hit the target, they'll probably back up at least some of what I have here. So again, this was the remote viewer will optimally perceive the source of the invisible bubble being investigated at Skinwalker Ranch. And this was my findings, just about, I don't know, 16 pages or so. It's nothing too elaborate. I kind of wish I would have went to whiteboard with this. I want to get back to whiteboard. But it was good seeing you guys. Please like, subscribe, and share the content. And, get the word out on remote viewing. And here on the channel, we do a lot of different things. We discuss current events, different ways to apply it, mystery targets. It's just I've got a pretty vast vocabulary already of a variety of things that you could find. If you like what I'm doing, please donate to the channel and help me support what I'm doing here. And remember to be kind to each other, and we'll catch you on the next Owl 003. Thanks, guys.